All right, good morning. So I came out here and was starting to do some off-camera stuff, and then I started getting into it and was like, I should probably record this. Long story short, you look down there on the top of the turbine housing in the center section. Had to pull the coolant hose. I ended up finding a busted section. Yay! So I went and already got this off of the motor that's in there in the breezeway. We had actually taken this loose already because we had taken the turbo off of that motor to investigate why it wasn't happy. So you'll notice I wrapped it in some electrical tape. That's just, I usually go one whole way, halfway overlapping, really tightly, and then I come back a little less tight as far as the spacing, but I still wrap really tight. I like to think it just helps. I have to reuse a factory hose from a different vehicle for the time being because I really need this thing to be back on the road, and that was clearly a problem, so we're done with that nonsense. We are here now, and then I'm going to take this apart because this shield was a bit better looking silver than this one was. You see this one's all dilapidated, and I'm still going to put that one on. I'm just going to put it on behind this one. Yep. So, fun stuff. It's going to be great. We're going to come in here and we're going to cut that down just a little bit. We need hose clamps, and I think I had the kit out there, but I thought I had some smaller, had different options is what I thought. Let's see. I don't think these are big enough to fit over these ends. I mean, if they are, hell yeah. Oh, you know what? With a little bit of, let me loosen this just a little bit. And I'm gonna sit you down. All right, tilted view, right? Okay. I'm just gonna loosen this bad mammer jammer up just a little bit and see if it slides on. We can go out a little bit further pretty well. Alright, that's the limit. If it doesn't fit here, we're not gonna fit. Oh, well, that looks like that's on. Now the question becomes, does the hose clamp fit over top of? Because that was the real bitch of it. Well, with some finagling, I think I can make that work. Alright, well that's cool. That means I can use two of the same hose clamps, which I like. I like kind of trying to be as samesies as possible. Although, you can tell the quality difference between all these because this one here just absolutely didn't want to do anything. I think this one might even be a smaller size than that one. What's this say? 13 to 15. What's this one's? Oh, 14 to 16. Okay, so I don't have matching hose clamps. I guess we're using what fits, where it fits. Had this one here. I started to slide the end of the hose on, but I wanted to get everything as in place as possible. There's another hose clamp to the wayside. I wonder how many of these clamps and stuff I'm going to have laying around by the time this is all said and done. It's not going to be a small amount, I know that. Probably going to be 10, 15 of them. Alrighty, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this right on there, and then we're going to put a tiny bit smeared in there because I know it's technically going to get hot and warm, but there's still no reason not to have some kind of protection on some of this stuff. And then put a little on the end of the hose. Alright, so now I got to take this one apart so I can get that hose clamp out of it. Can y'all see? Is that good? Alright, let's see if that's any better. Try and do this in front of y'all. So, got my handy dandy pliers, which What you do is you open up this sleeve and you turn it until you see the hose clamp. Grab it up here. So what I typically like to try and do, once I get a good bite on the hose clamp and I can roll it and move it, I like to try and push it up towards the silver steel section, just because once it's up there you can break the hose loose from it and then the hose will come out and then the hose clamp will come out. Alright. It was a bit of a bear to get the other one out, but whatever. Of course, it's going to fight and fight as hard as it can. Dang it. Alright, so now we're just going to grab the hose itself. Dang, girl. Okay, I think that did it. So now we should be able to just kind of back and forth. Yay! Old busted junk out. Alright, and then we should be able to, yep, just get that out there. And then we can open this here. Push this clamp out. Yet another clamp. So I am going to use the cutters and I'm going to trim this real fast. Doesn't really, like, I'm only doing this just because I don't want it looking horrifically tacky if I can help it. This is one of those OEM things that I really can't help at the moment. Like, I'm going to order, I think, some new shielding at some point. Alright, so here's the new hose. New old. So, we're just going to work this bad mammer jammer up in here. Like so. Yeah. Yeah, now we're up at the front where we need to be. So, I think this is the cleaner looking of the two. I'm just going to go right up in here. Gotta get it lined up. Now, because I've put so much electrical tape on it, it is naturally going to want to hold. And on top of that, I also used the hose clamp. Okay. Okie dokie. So, at this point, I need to just check what our alignment is. So that looks pretty bad. Let's see if I can bring you over here to this side somehow. I'm gonna have to move all the junk. These are all tools for cleaning the engine harness. We're just gonna bring these and set them in here for the time being. I'll just set them right there. Alright. I'll go ahead and move the zip ties too. Bring them in. I know I'm going to need more of them, so we'll Keep them close. Same for the hand cleaner. Okay. There's a little lizard or something over there. Didn't like me moving around. That's okay, buddy. Yep, we can take this one. Set that down now. We don't need that anymore. We're gonna need that. There's another little, and another little spring clip clamps junk. Alright. So let's see what we can do real fast to get you looking at what I'm doing. Okay, that looks pretty good. So basically I know that this bend here is going to go around the head, and I know it's going to set up here for that hose connection there, and so that seems to be pretty good as far as placement goes. That pushes the head out pretty far, so I can go ahead and tighten this one down. Go ahead and give her the crank. Alright, so I think, yep, that should be good. Alright, so now, just for funsies, nah, you know what, I think I'm going to leave that second sleeve off. I was going to put it on, but looking at the way I'm setting this one up, there's really not going to be anywhere good or useful for it to go to. So we're going to set this hose up here in the timing cover in its little clamp area. We're going to adjust it in such a way that it doesn't touch. And then we're just going to screw that down. Screw it down, crank it down, whatever. See if I can get it a little further by hand first. I'm getting there. It's working. So that's good and snug. I'll bring it back over here for a second. Alright, so if you look, it comes up off the turbo here, and then whoop. But now we have a little bit of natural gap. This is supposed to sit tight, of course. But now I can just snake that little guy on, tighten that clamp down. I'm not putting zip ties on the coolant, because coolant is much more constant pressure once it heats in a system. So we're we're putting clamps on stuff where we're supposed to. Okay. And again, because I've stuffed so much electrical tape onto this. It's going to be incredibly difficult to get it on. Now I'm going to loosen the clamp just a tiny bit more. If I can get away with just a touch. Let's go get a different screwdriver. Alright. Brought a couple just in case. I'm going to try this one first, just because it's fresh. No, it won't work. Try this one. Also won't work. Why did I do this to myself? Alright, so I guess y'all are coming with me. I don't really... What are we doing? See, I think this one's even too big. I'm gonna have to... Oh, that fits. Okay. Alright, so back on track. Set y'all back over here for a few minutes. Yeah. It's hard to believe I actually put any kind of sealant on this. Not sealant, lubricant. Maybe if I push the hose clamp just a little forward. Can I bed the rest of it? Well, it's close enough that I am going to send her. Here's to making things better, right guys? This is what we do. Thinking about it, there's still so much left to do on this car. But we're gonna get through it bit by bit. Alright, so now that that's all back together and officially tightened down with a clamp, you can see down there, it just goes into the bottom of this coolant pipe. And then there's this vacuum line that has this, that goes there, I think. No, it goes up and then tees. For the most part, I'm not going to touch most of it, but all of that hosing down there looks pretty good. We're still good and tight there. Still got a good gap here. This is facing up so that heat can escape it. That's plenty tight, and I can get to it again if I need to with a small little stubby screwdriver. Okay, so we're gonna pull all the tools off again. We're gonna go pile them up on the toolbox where we don't have any space whatsoever to do so, just like that. And then we're gonna, dare I say it, start thinking about the harness situation in just a few. I brought my harness back outside from inside of the house, and I brought all the cleaning products right there in them bags that I was going to use. And then right here is the other harness in question, which has a busted SAI plug, which I deleted that. And here's the resistor for that delete. And so the thought process and plan here is I can leave it deleted just like I had intended, and then just cut that plug off and then find a way to attach it here and then just tuck it somewhere back in the harness where it's out of sight, out of mind. No harm, no foul. Yeah, we're getting there. I'll admit I'm moving a little slow today because I'm tired. I've been doing a lot of stuff off camera for this vehicle, and it's a bit of a beatdown. But I'm gonna hope and keep hoping that what I'm doing is the right thing, and that I'm gonna get places with it, and I'm hopefully gonna, finish this, and we're gonna have like super awesome spoolie sounds. I know I still got to put that on, but just in case for any reason anything else goes wrong, I'm not going totally back together until I'm ready to go totally back together, I guess, if that makes sense. Like this little guy here, and go ahead and push that back on there. Yep, just like that. All right, cool. Folks, we're getting places. I love it. Excuse me. I have a new dilemma. So, you see this super grainy looking photo for some reason? My phone just wants to not do anything right. Okay, we're there. So, see that goes there, that goes there, and then that goes down. And this is where that would connect, and this is where that mushroom should be. But I'm thinking I'm going to put it up high like it used to go, because now that the SAI is gone, I don't have a secondary line that I need to run under here, which I can grab in here real fast. Excuse me. I don't know what this is, but I'm gonna take it because I'm about to be able to use lots of that. Hiya! Okay, so somewhere in here is what we're looking for, I believe, which is the old PCV tube. Might be over here on the table, now that I'm really thinking about it. But then again, I don't think so. Oh goodness, what did we do? Did we bury it for no good reason? This is the problem with having everything all over the place, folks. You start getting super all over the place with everything. You get spread real thin, and then you can't remember where you put stuff. I could have swore that I would have put that thing somewhere out and around, easy to get to, just because that was something I was pretty sure I was going to have to... Oh, it's over here. I'm dumb. It's in this pile. Is it? Is it? I can't remember if this is it or not. I think this went down here. Ah, hell. This is so much fun. So if I take this out of here, set this up over there, and then I set this one here, maybe it was here. Okay, so that's kind of what we were looking like. And then there was some kind of rigmarole that went from the end up to the top. Although I thought this was coolant, but I guess it does look... Oh, you know what it is? It's this guy. Maybe. I'm not sure. Where's the rag? Alrighty. This thing was filthy. And I was absolutely forget about stuff because I put it places and start doing things and I forget what I'm doing and distractions. Alright. So that's the one. So you see, goes right in there. Nope. So it goes right in here. And then it hits there and here. And then it attaches down there or something like that. Alright, so I'm not going to make y'all watch this, but I'm going to wire brush it down real good. I'm going to try and clean some of the inside out since it has soaked for so long. Maybe I'll get lucky, be able to hit it with some compressed air, and it'll just kind of come apart. I don't know, but crisis averted. That's going to go there. I'll be able to use the new valve, so that'll be happy. Now the real question becomes, you see there's a check valve there, and I guess I'm going to go ahead and try to find a way, this metal one, we're just going to, that's spare parts. Where'd that metal one go? The little guy. It's over here. So this is going to go down there. It does have to go up here. I want to say it's like this, because it's going to line up like that. I really hate that I'm not going to be able to do anything about that coolant pipe. That's such a damn shame. I wish I could cut it off, but then I lose all but one of the mounting tabs for the whole assembly. So I think I'm just going to have to deal with it for now, and then maybe in the future I can find a more permanent solution. This also has the 2 bottom screws for the heat shield, so I want to try and utilize that any which way I can, because I need as much heat protection on this motor as possible, because it overheated the first time. Not saying it'll do it again, but I'm saying it can do it again. So we're going to figure it out. This is going to be a sacrificial pipe right here, just to be able to cut apart. I might use section of it, because this here, if I can, basically that right there is what I was looking to take, because it fits close enough, and I know that that one's in better shape even though it's dirtier, because it's not all swollen out. It doesn't look like it's separated on the inside. It's just better than nothing. I think that's the one that came off of the old motor. I think a lot of the hoses we took off. Some of them I've taken off already, and I'm messing up and not remembering where I put them. Yeah, see, there's the combi valve, and there's that right there. So let's actually just flip this gently like that, alright? So, we're looking here. Imagine this is the turbo, because that's where it would be on this. That's the oil feed. This is the heat shield I'm trying to bring on over. And you see there's some stuff here and some stuff there, and that's going to be gone, so you're not going to see that anymore. But that heat shield still brings a lot of that exhaust heat off. And I may come in and take this heat shield too, even if I'm just zip tying it somewhere. It being there, although I think that might still be on the car. I just think it's been pushed up so we could get to the motor mounts. Okay. So, I think I know what we're doing. I think I know what I'm doing, at least. I don't know what you guys are doing. Y'all are crazy for watching me. I appreciate the views, though. I appreciate the interaction in the comments and all the talking to me. That's always such a beautiful thing for me. I appreciate any and all interaction, and I'll do the same. I'll come to your videos and chat you up if I can. I know I go long periods of time in between commenting on videos, and it mostly because I'll sit finally and I'll run through all the stuff I've missed over the last few days, and I have to catch up all at once. And so it looks like I'm dancing across channels and pages and skipping through stuff, but no, I've watched. I just never got a chance to come back and comment. So, you know, appreciate it. I did a little bit more painting. I figure we'll go ahead and make whatever we're putting back in look as good as we can, right? Okay, so more stuff is done. As you can see, I have all of this hooked up. It's all there. And I got zip ties around everything. Oh, I hate that the video's doing the stuttering thing again. At least the audio's not too big a deal. This is partly why I don't like putting my face on camera too much, because when I start talking and the camera lags and all this stuff does what it does, it's just, it's annoying. Anyway, all the connections for the PCV system are all back on, all the way down to here. I removed the air filter because I'm going to go ahead and go back to that car in the back, and I'm going to pull the lower half of the box, air box for that, and modify it so that we can start heat shielding and putting all this back. Here, sooner than later, I'm going to have to switch gears, and I'm going to have to start putting the harness in, because now I'm getting to a point to where stuff's starting to get pretty well done. So I'm going to have to go through and do all the finalizing bits that I wanted to do. Like over here, I've got this still that I need to cut, trim, and then stick back down there and bolt back to the bottom of the car. There's not a whole lot left as far as vacuum, PCV, coolant hosing, or anything like that. The big things I have left that I'm aware of are the oil cooler. I gotta sort them out real quick. I gotta figure out which ones I'm gonna use, if I have any that look good. Obviously, the one that came off of the car looked like dookie because I had to rip and tear all the pieces to get it off. So yeah, fun stuff, but we're getting there, and just to keep myself motivated so I can see how nice this is going to look, this will sit just like that. And of course, like I said, that'll be clean and shiny, but you see all of the black. It just looks so much snazzier. Like, we are making moves. I love it. Because even at the end of the day, if this stuff doesn't fix the problems I'm having, I still made the car look nicer. I still tidied a bunch of stuff up, confirmed a bunch of stuff that could have been a problem as not a problem, and then even repaired a lot of it just to go ahead and get ahead of the trend and try to avoid as much headache as what was possible. And so this is where we're at now. We're most of the way back together, but we are still lacking an engine harness of some kind. So, meh. Alright, so more stuff has happened. I decided to go ahead and modify the lower air box like I wanted to. Now what I'd like to do eventually is I'd like to trim that a little bit so I can get this to sit a little straighter but flat in there. But I reused an old license plate to create a heat shield, which is basically what I wanted to do. And then I'll have the heat shield that goes underneath there for the oil. It'll protect most of the stuff above that. But this is what I meant right here, this fresh air feed. What I'd like is to think that all the air that goes through the front here is now just going to hit over here in this area and purge the heat that way and down. If need be, I have this that I had intended on working in there in some way. So the thought process was this will almost lip like this. Of course, the air filter is going to have to drop in there further for it to really snugly fit the way I want. But something to that effect. With this down in there lower and wrapped over, and it could look good. But for now, I'm really happy with this. So I'm going to take it all back apart now. That way I can lay the engine harness in here and get it all sorted out. And oh man, it's been a long day already. I don't even know what time it is. I think it's like 11 or 12, and I've been out here since 7:30ish, I think. We're making progress, but holy hell, it's slow progress. Okay, so we have officially done everything we can do, minus that one wire repair, which is not a part of the main harness, that I can do without having the harness in the car to start routing things to the right places. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this here video up on that bombshell. I hope you guys liked me cutting more. I hope you aren't as assaulted by, an hour and a half of watching me move in real time. Hopefully this was a bit less painful to watch, a little bit more going on, but we're pretty much there. I got to put the harness in, and then I can start really finagling things around. And I'm planning on doing a video dedicated specifically to the harness itself. So we're going to end here, and then I'm going to go ahead and start up another video for the harness itself. And it's not really a how-to as much as it's just going to be the journey I go through. That I will do in real time from start to finish, so that I can show everybody how it goes when you want to drive a Volkswagen. But like, comment, subscribe. I hope you stuck around the whole video. If you did, thank you kindly. If not, no big deal. Even just clicking on the video gives me a view. Feel free to give me that thumbs up. It helps me get the channel out there. It helps me get people looking at what I'm doing. The idea here is I'm trying to make Volkswagens in general more, accessible for the average person who thinks they're complicated. So there's some how-tos up here. There's some vlogging. If you've got some specific questions, feel free to fire them off. I'm easy to talk to and even easier to get along with. On that, you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.